Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to the next science lesson, which is going to be all about the food that we eat and the things that we do for good health. Let us take a look at the objectives of this lesson. So, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the different nutrients in different types of food and to identify why they are important in our body. You'll also be able to explain the importance of a balanced diet and its importance in maintaining good health. I wonder before I choose. If you're given an option of a plate of green vegetables and another plate filled with foods like burgers, fries, and pizza, which would we opt for? Yes, it would be difficult for us to make the choice of fresh vegetables and fruits, even though we know how important they are for our body. But let's learn a little bit more about why it is important to make the right food choices. It's all about the nutrients in the food. What do we mean by nutrients? Nutrients are the essential components of food necessary for the normal functioning of our body. That is, a body would simply be unable to function the way it does, helping us to do our daily tasks, breathe, the beating of the heart, the way the brain functions. All of these functions would not happen as smoothly as it does without the essential nutrients. What are the essential nutrients? There are 6 essential nutrients, namely carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, fats, minerals, and of course water. Carbohydrates are the source of energy to work and play. Carbohydrates give us immediate energy for us to engage in our daily tasks. Carbohydrates also help create a feeling of satisfaction and fullness in our stomachs. Is it possible for you to study, sleep, or feel happy when you feel hungry and empty all the time? No, right? So, carbohydrates are those nutrients which help you feel full and energetic all the time. We get carbohydrates from grains and cereals like rice, wheat, starchy vegetables like sweet potato, banana, vegetables like broccoli, etc. Well, these carbohydrates are what we call as complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are available through foods like sugars, bread, cookies, etc. The difference between complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates is that complex carbohydrates are digested more slowly. Thus, the energy which we receive through the complex carbohydrates are available for a longer period of time, whereas simple carbohydrates give us a quick spike of energy which gets quickly used up and makes you feel all spent and tired by the time it's used up. Simple carbohydrates are also more easily converted into fats, which leads to obesity or the problem of being overweight in the long run. Proteins are a most essential part of a diet. Proteins are the building blocks which are needed for making muscles, blood, as well as the skin. They are practically what our bodies are made up of. Proteins are thus essential for growth and repair of the body. Foods high in protein are meat and fish, dairy products like cheese, eggs, pulses, and nuts and seeds. It's generally thought that proteins are best available from non-vegetarian sources, but there are lots of meatless protein sources too, like nuts, vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, seeds, spinach, and especially yogurt or curd are extremely good sources of protein. Now let's talk about fats. Fats are generally thought about as a bad thing, but not all fats are bad. There are fats which come under the healthy category and which are very much essential for the normal functioning of our body. Fats store energy in our body and also helps to maintain the body temperature. Fats are essential for brain development, and fats are also required for the development of cells inside our body. High in fat include fatty meat, fish, cheese, butter, chocolate like dark chocolate, which is less in sugar and more in cocoa butter or fat from chocolate, nuts and seeds, as well as fatty fruits like avocado. It's very important to avoid bad fats which contain a lot of what we call as trans fats. These get accumulate in our body, leading to increasing body weight and causing ill health. Vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts in our body. They are small but mighty. Vitamins like A, B, C, D, E, and K, to name just a few, help our body fight diseases and build immunity in our body. Minerals are also essential. Examples of minerals are calcium, phosphorus, iron, iodine, etc. These are needed for healthy bones, blood, and teeth. Together, vitamins and minerals are very much essential for the smooth functioning of our body. Sources of vitamins and minerals are brightly colored fruits and vegetables, milk and milk products, eggs, fish and other types of seafood, and even some grains and cereals are also good sources of certain types of vitamins and minerals. Roughage. Roughage is not exactly a nutrient, but it is a component of food. Roughage is what helps the movement of food through the digestive tract. This helps avoid constipation. This helps to clear the bowel by inducing bowel movements. Food that are rich on roughage includes fruits, vegetables, nuts, carbohydrates like barley, wheat, etc. Water. Water is very much essential for all body functions. As you can see, most of our body, almost 60% of an adult body, is made up of water. It becomes even more in children. Therefore, we have a daily requirement of at least 8 glasses of water, which comes up to 2 to 2.5 liters of water every day. Water is required for basic functions like building of the blood, which helps to carry nutrients throughout the body. It's important for the functioning of your brain. It's also important for removing waste, cushions our joints, makes up our muscles. Practically all the functions of our body are dependent on water. Now let's take a look at what nutrition labels actually mean. If you look at the food at the top, you have a burger with fries. A Big Mac with medium French fries can give us 930 calories. Calories is a way to measure how much of energy can be obtained by the digestion and use up of a certain type of food. But if you look at the foods available at the bottom, which consists of wholemeal bread, fruits, vegetables, and pulses, all of these together would once again give you 930 calories of energy. So if we get the same amount of energy from both kinds of food, then what's a big deal? Why do we call burgers and fries unhealthy food or junk food? This is because if you look at the distribution of nutrients in the burger and fries, it includes 48 grams of fat. So most of the energy comes from the fat, and just 29 grams of protein, 94 grams of carbohydrates, 8 grams of fiber, and a whooping 127 grams of sodium, which is essentially salt. Coming to the healthy food, the energy comes mostly from protein, which is of 64 grams, and we know that proteins are essential and very much important for building up of our body. 115 grams comes from carbohydrates, which are energy giving. Fiber is also a major component at 23 grams, which is essential for a healthy digestive tract, and the amount of sodium is very less. This is the reason why we would call foods like this healthy food and foods like these unhealthy food or junk food or empty calorie food. Now let's talk about a balanced diet. A balanced diet is a diet which contains the right amount of all the nutrients as well as water and roughage. Pyramid is a representation of the optimal or the best number of servings to be eaten each day from each of the basic food groups. And when we talk about food groups, we have groups like grains, which includes wheat, rice, millets, etc. We have vegetables and fruits. We have milk and milk products. We have meat, fish, egg, and alternatives like pulses, soya, etc. And we also have fat, oil, salt, and sugar. These are the major food groups. So, in a balanced diet, the distribution of the food groups should be in the shown amounts. A major portion of grains, almost as much of vegetables and fruits, lesser amount of milk products, meat, fish, egg, etc., and minimal of fat, oil, salt, and sugar. Based on recent studies on more conscious and more correct ways of eating, the nutrient dense way to eat would be to have a major portion of vegetables, fruits, and pulses or legumes in unlimited quantities. What we would require to limit is actually the amount of whole grains, that is, the carbohydrates, the raw nuts and seeds that we take in, and much lesser of fish, fat, and dairy products, even much lesser of poultry products like chicken, meat, etc., eggs, and oil. What is required to be consumed in the rarest times is milk, processed food, fried foods, and sweets. Therefore, our plate should ideally look like this: more than half part of fruits and vegetables, a lesser amount of whole grains, a small portion of starchy vegetables like a yet smaller part of dairy foods, a tiny fraction of animal protein, lots more of plant proteins from pulses, soya, plant-based oils like groundnut oil, coconut oil, sunflower oil, and a bare minimal of added sugars. Let's recap what we have learned. There are 6 essential nutrients in food, which are namely carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, fats, and water. Carbohydrates are energy giving foods like cereals, grains, and starchy veggies. Proteins are bodybuilding and repair foods like pulses, fish, meat, milk, and milk products. Vitamins are immunity building foods like brightly colored fruits and vegetables, milk, and milk products. Minerals are needed for a healthy nervous system, blood, bones, and teeth. They can be obtained through brightly colored fruits and vegetables, milk, and milk products once again. It should be remembered that vitamins and minerals are present in other sources of carbohydrates as well as proteins too, in lesser quantities. Fats are required for storing energy and are also needed for development of healthy cells as well as our brain. These can be got through ghee, butter, oils, and nuts. Water is essential for the functioning of our body, and we require at least 2 liters of water every day. Roughage is not a nutrient but an essential part of food which is needed for a clean and healthy digestive tract. A balanced diet means a diet which provides all the essential nutrients in the required amounts on a daily basis. Food pyramid represents the ideal distribution of food groups in a balanced diet. Let us take a look at a good health formula. Good health doesn't just come from the food that we eat. Equally essential is at least 150 minutes of exercise per week, that is, at least 20 minutes per day, 8 hours of sleep, as well as rest or quiet time. And before I sign off, I would like to remind you, eat better, not less. Make the right food choices for a healthy body. I'll see you again in the next video. Until then, keep learning and stay curious.